Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first Zoom podcast installment of our Member Spotlight series, CapeSpace Connections. I am Haley Cote. I am the Community Manager of CapeSpace Mashpee, and I am so pleased to be shining our very first video spotlight on Anthony Colletti. Anthony has proven himself to be quite the leader in the local business community, which we'll get into shortly here. But first off, Anthony, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Good, good. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. You know, Anthony, I haven't told you this yet, but your podcast series, which I'm loving, by the way, as actually
Thank
was the
you.
inspiration behind doing this new iteration of our member spotlight. So
That's
thank you
awesome.
for the inspiration.
That's what my intention is, just to help people push a little bit further and get a little bit, a little more attention. That's my plan is, I realized a long time ago that with in terms of marketing, everything is about attention. And as business owners and marketers, we're competing with the news and the election cycle and, the kids and everything else that goes on in life.
Right.
So, how do we get attention for our business? And video is a great way.
Yes, I know. Well, it's very smart. Yeah, it's very engaging. So yeah, absolutely. Well, Anthony, I guess we'll dive right in here. So Anthony, you are self-described as the Cape's leading business advisor. So tell me about that. Tell me about what your company's all about and what you do.
Absolutely. So the company itself, I have kind of two things going on. My brand is Consult Colletti, right? So anybody that wants to learn about me can go to consultcolletti.com. And, that is like my personal brand. I do work for a software company called Thrive. Okay. And Thrive is an end-to-end client experience platform. So what I do with my experience in marketing, because I majored in marketing back in 2005, believe it or not, 15 years ago, which sounds pretty cool to me, I guess. I combine all my experience with my understanding of social media technology, and I help business owners with software, with technology, with social media, with email marketing, with their online presence. And it's kind of a really good marriage. So in terms of business advising, I advise clients not so much on like a profit and loss statement, like financial advising, more so customer acquisition, engagement, nurturing customers, that sort of thing. So that's really what I think I am pretty darn good at.
Yes. So Google My Business is a big part of what you do, Anthony. Can you explain that to folks?
All right. This is like my hot button right here. So look, 9 out of 10 people use Google to search. All right. They're going to Google, right? Almost half of what they're searching are for local businesses, local products and services. So if you're a business owner, like imagine if you are, let's say, a plumber or an electrician, right? Or anything. Most people will search plumber near me or plumber in Hyannis, right? Or electrician in Hyannis. And what happens is when you punch that into Google, Google will give you page 1 of Google, the results. And typically there could be a bunch of ads at the top, but then you'll see a map, all right? And then under the map, you'll see 3 businesses, 3 listings. That's it. And what Google My Business is a free listing to put your business on page 1 of Google in that map section. And that actually gets 30% of all the click volume on page 1 of Google. So what I do for clients is I help them optimize their Google My Business profile. And I actually created a PDF, which is available for free. I'll plug it now. It's gmbdownload.com, like Google My Business, gmbdownload.com. And I will teach you how to actually start optimizing it. So why you would want to do that is, and I kind of coined this phrase, you feed Google content like photos and videos and posts, and Google will feed you customers, right? So imagine if your competition is in spots 1, 2, and 3, and you're not. Like, why not? You run a business. Like, get in there. You have to adapt. If you're not, I'm sorry to say that, some businesses will be fine because they're 40 years old and everything's word of mouth.
Right.
But, for new businesses, right? I'll give you an example. One of my good friends owns Falmouth Window Tinting, and he's been in business for 4 years. He has over 350 five-star reviews on Google, and all of his competition is like in the teens.
Wow.
So who would you choose to get your windows tinted from? Somebody that has 350 five-star reviews, or somebody that has like 5? And
Right,
then
right.
to add to that, the businesses that have 5 reviews, they may have been in business for 20 years, and all of a sudden this guy comes out of nowhere and just starts dominating Google My Business, and his business is thriving. So that's the importance of Google My Business. And the only way to really optimize it is to have an address. You need a physical address, which is where I help my clients get in touch with CapeSpace, because you guys provide the address, and I'm a client of yours as well. I use the Hyannis address because you really don't want to use your home address, because people are people, and there will be crazy people out there that try to come to your house and
Right.
have disputes, and you need a business address. You can't use a PO box. You can't use you really shouldn't use your home address. So for that service, I do constantly, I refer people to either the Mashpee location or the Hyannis location. So very important. Go to gmbdownload.com and get that free PDF.
Yes, awesome. Well, then we appreciate you, Anthony, too. And just a quick little plug. So what Anthony is referring to is our virtual office membership. So you get to use our address as your professional business mailing address. So if you're interested in more about that, certainly visit us at capespace.com to learn more.
It's a great service.
And Anthony, so you mentioned Thrive. So can you tell me a little bit more about Thrive and what your involvement is there?
Right. So with Thrive, I am a business advisor, right? So what that means is I help clients, business owners, pretty much any business that wants to dominate page 1 of Google for Google My Business. And also, I'll give you an example. So most businesses don't have a CRM. A CRM is an acronym that means client relationship management. And basically, it's just email marketing, whether it's Constant Contact or MailChimp or whatever. But most businesses actually don't do any email marketing, which is a mistake. So part of what I help with Thrive is to set them up with a foundation where that they could put all their clients in a system and have it organized. And you can create a message like one time. So I help my clients set up this recurring email where, every month, or you can program it for 3 months, or even like every 6 months, it just says like, let's just use CapeSpace as an example. Hey, it's Haley from CapeSpace, just checking in, just seeing how you're doing. Also, if you need anything, definitely like reach out. And by the way, check out the latest interview on our website, right? And then there'll be a little button to the website. Imagine this goes out to your prospects, your referral sources, your contacts every 3 or 6 months. It's just nurturing, just keeping you top of mind. That is a huge benefit for business owners, because this is automated now. This is a system. You don't have to engage. Let the software do it.
Right.
So that's just one feature of Thrive. And then there's other pieces of it. Like we have a library of over 500,000 pre-made social media posts. So clients can literally just set up pre-made posts to go into Twitter, Google My Business, Facebook, and they're posting content into Google My Business every single day, which is really cool because, like I said, if you feed Google, Google feeds you. So what I realized is business owners, they don't want to do extra work. They're so busy.
Right.
They
Especially
want
small
system.
businesses too, with limited resources and yeah.
So the system does it for them, right? So they don't have to hire a social media like employee. They just engage the software. Software does it automatically, saves them time, saves them money, helps them get on Google. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that it does that I won't get into today, but it's very powerful software. There's over 55,000 business owners on it today. It's a U.S. company based out of Dallas, Texas, and I really enjoy working with them. It's been a blessing, and I get to work from home, and I get to help business owners, which is my favorite thing to do.
Well, that's awesome. That kind of leads me into my next question. So what do you love most about what you do?
So I love the fact that I can have significant impact on people's lives in terms like, why do people start businesses? Well, they want their own freedom. They want to do what they're passionate about, and they have kids, they have retirement goals, so they need income.
Mhm.
So what I do is I help them tweak their business so that it performs better, so that they can either have more money, retire faster, take a vacation, just take some stress off of their plate. So for me, it's personal because I was raised by my parents. Obviously, they were business owners, and I watched them struggle growing up. My dad didn't want me to take over his business. It was construction, and he wanted me to use my brain and not my back, right? So
Mhm.
I majored in marketing, I also started a few businesses myself. So I'm not just a business advisor. I also own businesses. I own a music company.
Wow. Okay.
I have other things going on. So, for me, I figured, let me use my skills in marketing and actually help people like my parents, because I get it. I get the struggle. I get the day to day. Like, there's no safety net there. So for me to come into a business or be referred to a business owner and come in and make an impact, it's very rewarding. It's like,
Mhm.
it's exactly where I need to be. And it feels
Mhm.
good to know that and to actually be good at, doing what I do. So
Mhm.
I'm extremely blessed, but it took me 13 years to figure that out. I was a property
Mhm.
manager for 13 years in New York City and on the Cape, and I was doing something that I really didn't like,
Hmm.
but I always had an optimistic view that one day I would figure it out, and it took me like till I was 34 years old. I figured it out.
Right.
I turned the ship in the direction that I wanted to go intentionally.
Mhm.
So, you know, I'm extremely blessed that I was able to do that. So I am feeling good about like my whole situation, because I know a lot of people don't like what they do, or they're not so enthusiastic about it, but I absolutely love what I do.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's great too, just for people who might be unsure or not too satisfied with what they're doing. There is, I guess, looking at your story as an example. I mean, you really can, if you broaden out and kind of open your horizons and kind of go fall back on that original training you had as in marketing and kind of rediscovering that in a way. So
Exactly.
that's cool. Yeah. So real quick, Anthony, so the music company you mentioned, I'm dying to know what's that all about, if you just kind of want to give a little insight
So
into that.
back in 2005, when I was majoring in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
my brother is really talented, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a musician. He went to audio engineering school in New York City. And at the time I was in college, I was in business school. I needed an elective to take because I was really stressed with all the accounting and finance and all the intense like business classes. So I took this class called Zen and Yoga, and turns out the instructor of that course at Seton Hall University, she became a good friend of mine, and she invited me to Carlsbad, California at the Chopra Center. I took a 7 or 10 day meditation retreat, and she let me take her teacher training at no cost. So I became a registered yoga instructor, and I was living in New York City, and I would go to these yoga classes, and I didn't like the music that, I was hearing in the yoga classes. I thought it was very distracting, and just not conducive to yoga, because I understood yoga because I studied it. And, so my brother being a music producer, I said, Tom, do you think we could create some music around, I showed him some examples and some examples. He said, sure. So we created our first album back in 2007, which is called Yoga is Union. And using my marketing skills, I got it into Whole Foods Market. I got it into music choice programming. And then now it's literally everywhere. We're distributed through Sounds True, which is a publishing company based out of Colorado. But we're we still get royalties on that album. You know, every quarter that album just produces income, which is fantastic. And then we created another album called Yoga is Love, which is, they wanted us to make another one. So we made the second album. So that was like my first little experience in marketing and pushing my limits to see what I was capable of. You know, I went to every single Whole Foods in the Northeast region and met with each buyer and negotiated the album to get into each store. So I've been doing this for a while, and you know, I still listen to the album. You can listen to it on Spotify, you know, just search Tom Colletti, which is my brother, or search Yoga is Union or Yoga is Love, and anybody can listen to it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Let's see. So Anthony, you've been a member now at CapeSpace for what, a little over a year now, or how long have you been with us?
Well, we started doing, I started with Ambit Energy back in, I think it was like right when you guys opened in Hyannis. It wasn't that long after you guys opened in Hyannis. And I would do a presentation for Ambit I think it was every Wednesday or Thursday. And, you know, we'd use at that time, I think the room was a little bit bigger. I think you converted the room into more office space. But yeah, so I've been coming to CapeSpace in Hyannis for years. And then most recently I became a member at the Mashpee office.
So how would you say CapeSpace has improved your work life? What's kind of been the biggest impact of being a member of CapeSpace?
Before COVID, you know, this was my go-to place. Like I go to Hyannis and just post up and get my work done. You know, because at that time I was managing condominiums still. So, you know, in between managing those, I would just stop at CapeSpace, and then the networking alone at CapeSpace has been incredible for my business. What I love most about it is the atmosphere, the vibe. You know, it's hard to like show that on a website, like, you know, capespace.com. But when you actually go into CapeSpace, there's a very nice vibe. It's like, you can feel it. It's just nice. It's relaxed. Like, it's a good working environment, and you can post up, you know, at any spot and just start working. So it's very convenient, very professional. And that really turned me, you know, onto it, that, you know, this was someplace that I needed to be, because think about it, like attracts like. So there are a lot of successful professional people at CapeSpace. And if you're not there, you don't have an opportunity to network with anybody. Right. So from a networking perspective, it also helped a lot. And a lot of my clients and friends that are business owners are members at CapeSpace. And then I'm also part of the BNI group, a Team Advantage in Mashpee. So then after our Mashpee meeting, you know, I like to go to the CapeSpace in Mashpee and have a cup of coffee. I can bring my clients up there, and it's just a great place to work out of, because typically I work from home, which is great, but I don't really want to bring clients, you know, here. I used to, but I'd much rather get out of the house
of course.
and come to CapeSpace, you know? So yeah, I think what CapeSpace is really a public service, you know, on the Cape. I think it's brilliant. And I'm just very thankful that, you know, you're there, you know, Anna and Robin, and you guys do such a great job, you know, making us feel welcome. So I'm a huge fan.
Well, thank you. And I'm thrilled to hear that, of course. This thing kind of leads me into two. So you mentioned pre-COVID. How have you found yourself adapting and during this whole era here that we're experiencing?
Yeah. So good question, right? So I've been working from home since 2016. So I've been on Zoom for years. I have lighting and backgrounds, and, you know, that's kind of like my thing. So when this all became the new norm, I was like, okay, like I already have a home office. I already have Zoom. I already know all this stuff. So I just kind of hit the ground running. And because business owners were really impacted the most, and that's what I do, like I help them, my business has skyrocketed during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because it's also more efficient to meet with more clients because you don't have to drive, and you can meet with more clients in that 8-hour period, as opposed to before. There's a lot of driving involved. So I'll tell you the benefits for me of COVID-19, right? Um, my son is 17 months old, so I get to spend, every day with him. When I'm not in meetings, like I'll take him out in my yard, and we have a swing, we have a garden, and we live in a pretty nice neighborhood to like walk him in the stroller. So, I've spent so much time with him, and my wife and my mother-in-law is here. So it's been a blessing, to be able to have more time with my family, help more clients. And really, I started my podcast, which I don't think would have happened if we didn't have COVID, because podcast requires a lot of work and prep. So I'm on this week will be week 7 coming up for the podcast. So I think productivity has gone up. I know it's gone up for Thrive as a company. I know many companies have experienced that as well, and they've become virtual first companies, leaning more towards virtual. So I think a lot of good has come out of it. It's forced business owners to adapt, which is important, because if they haven't done so already, they need to now. There's no way around it.
Right.
I feel bad for some business owners. In the beginning, they got really hit. And honestly, I'd say 90+% of the business owners that I work with have done just fine. They've made it through, and they've even done more than they thought. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's important to me because, I have such a personal relationship with small business owners. So I'm happy that most of them, if not all of them, are doing just fine. So that's kind of like my synopsis of COVID-19 as it relates to me personally and my work. I think the takeaway there is just to be adaptable. You have to adapt, and preparation, right? What is that? The 3 Ps or the 4 Ps? Proper prep prevents poor performance. Maybe it's 5 Ps. But yeah, if you're prepared, you can hit the ground running. You just don't want to get caught off guard. So if anybody's watching that still has issues with Zoom or technology or email marketing or social media or any of these things that are vitally important, Google My Business, I'm here to have a conversation because it's not going away.
Right. Yeah. And that's awesome that you can be a resource to people for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, awesome, Anthony. So kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm going to get into some more little lighthearted, a little more fun questions. So what do you enjoy doing in your free time? I know you mentioned your son and your wife and spending some family time, but what else do you like to do?
Well, I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. So when I'm not in front of a screen or a phone or a screen, I like gardening. I have a big raised bed garden that I've had for probably like 4 or 5 years. So I'm growing all types of stuff, raspberries, asparagus, cucumbers, garlic, eggplant, peppers, tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Quite the
it's
array.
fun. It's like, and I'm building a fence for the garden. So I purchased like a bunch of material from Falmouth Lumber, and I've got my chop saw and my table saw and all my tools. So I'm kind of like woodworking. So, and then I just finished my upstairs bathroom, and we put an outdoor shower in. So I guess we're officially Cape Codders. We have the outdoor shower, which is awesome, by the way. Other than that, I like going to the beach, right?
Of course.
So we take my wife and I take our son to the beach, and we get pizza and just have dinner like on the beach, and that's been real nice. But yeah, I mean, just really enjoying the Cape. We have such a beautiful location to live in. And I think we have such a great community, you know, in Mashpee and Falmouth, where I am. Falmouth Main Street's beautiful.
Mm.
So yeah, just really enjoying the Cape. I mean, and my house. I'm not too exciting. Sorry to disappoint everybody.
No, no. I think probably people can relate to just those kind of basic going to the beach, home, you know, those kind of simple but still lovely kind of experiences.
Thank you.
So what is your favorite place on the Cape?
My favorite place on the Cape. Do you mean like restaurant or like in
Yeah,
terms
so
of?
either. So maybe whether it's like a beach or a
Mm,
particular restaurant. So
yeah. Well, I mean, any place in Falmouth is just
hmm
beautiful. You know, we absolutely love all the Falmouth beaches. We have our beach stickers, and we take rides to all of them.
hmm
You know, but I would say there's so many beautiful places on the Cape that I haven't even ventured out in. My goal at some point is to get a boat,
hmm
and there's like, you know, tons of ramps that are just free, right? So as long as you have a trailer and a boat, and you could literally just get out on the water. So
right.
you know, Wacoya Bay is beautiful. We stop over there. We go to Smitty's Ice Cream a lot next to the library. That
hmm
place is so nice. So, you know, just all the basic things that like probably everybody else does. You know, it's interesting. When I worked in Eastham, a lot of the folks that live in Eastham would say, you're not a real Cape Codder if you don't live past the Orleans Rotary, right? And they would be so proud that they never like would even go past the Orleans Rotary. They would stay in like, you know, Eastham or Truro, Wellfleet, and P-Town.
hmm
Um, but as you live on the Cape, you kind of do just stay in your town for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, you know, what's nice about networking and business is that it lets you actually get out of your town and go to another town. So yesterday I was in Sandwich for a networking event. And that was nice because like one of the first times like actually got to interact with people outside of a screen.
Mm.
But yeah, just getting out is nice, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
seeing the Cape. How about you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, I've gotten to explore the Cape more and more over the last few years. I've actually, you know, gone all the way out to Provincetown, so ventured through the upper outer Cape there. So yeah, I love particularly the Mid Cape here. You know, this is where I was born and raised. Love the town of Osterville and Dowses Beach. You know, I go. My mom and I take drives a lot, so we'll always go down into Dowses and just all around the Mid Cape here. So yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Osterville is definitely beautiful. There's so many wonderful places on the Cape. We are really blessed to be here. You know, it's
Absolutely.
you know, coming from I lived in Staten Island, I lived in New Jersey, Brooklyn, Manhattan. Um, there's, you know, New Jersey, the Jersey Shore has its own vibe. There's
hmm
nothing like what we have here. You know, we are
hmm
still we have such a strong community
Yeah.
around us. I think that makes the Cape very special, you know.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Hmm. Let's see. So, Anthony, if you could invite any three people, living or dead, to a dinner party, who would you invite and why?
This question, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, listen, this is like one of the hardest questions for me, but um, you know, there's definitely one person that comes to mind. He's no longer living. His name is Jim Rohn. Jim
Mhm.
Rohn, you know, he's an author, and he was a business strategist and a public speaker
Mhm.
who I admire greatly. He's also a man of faith, you know, so um, I'd love to have a conversation with him, you know, over a few
Mhm.
drinks. That'd be super.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and you know, I'd like to have, if I could, I'd have Jesus there for sure, because my man JC, I'd like to pick his brain on a few things.
That would be interesting. Yes.
um, and then I'd probably say, one of my best friends in the world, he's on podcast number 5. His name is Chad Crenshaw. He and I are very much alike. If you haven't watched that podcast, check it out with Chad Crenshaw. He played international basketball. He started a business in Japan. He lost everything. His kid got sick with the spinal issue and they didn't have insurance, and then he rebuilt himself. He just launched another company, but he's somebody that we just go back and forth with idea after idea. And I'm like, you need friends like that to, to uplift you and keep you motivated and support you. So, he's a very powerful person. So definitely those would be 3 good people to hang out with for sure. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, no, those definitely all sound like good 3 choices for sure. Let's see. So Anthony, what would you say is your superpower? That's an interesting one.
Superpower. Wow. Well, somebody told me yesterday that I don't gain weight, so I don't know. I eat a lot, but
Right.
but besides that, I think being able to network with all different types of people and just make progress for them, like breakthroughs. I was raised in Staten Island, and on our street, it was like the United Nations. My best friends who lived behind me, they were Black. Their dad was an attorney, a Black attorney who played golf, and they had an in-ground swimming pool. Their mom was white, right? And then my friend Leslie, she was Polish and Italian. My friend Charlie was Scottish and Irish. My friend Daryl was Chilean. My friend Rick was Black and white. So I grew up like, and my best friend growing up, Leslie, was a girl, so I grew up in the most diverse mix of people as a child, and as a child, like, you don't really see race, you're just friends. So I realized my lens is very unique in that I still feel like that way as an adult, and I realize not everybody feels the same way, but I feel like that's helped me with my superpower of just like really like getting along with people and like helping people with whatever they need help with. So I think that's really, I kind of acknowledge that the way I grew up, it really has shaped me to really get along with a lot of people. So, so for COVID, it has affected me a little bit, just not being as social as I'd like to be, because I love being out. And since I'm Italian, I love to eat. So I like to go out with clients and friends and eat and drink and get things done that way. But the podcast and Zoom and things like this have supplemented that part of my, my desire. But so yeah, I guess I don't know if I answered the question, but I feel like that that's probably it.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Thank you.
And lastly here, Anthony, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Okay. This is a great question. All right. So there's 2 things I'll say, because there's probably as equally as important. I'll start with this one. My uncle, he told me once, know when to get out. And I don't think he was trying to be like prolific or, inspirational. Like, but it clicked for me, because many people stay in things, whether they're relationships or businesses or just things that don't serve them, right? And it doesn't serve them to take their life to the next level, or their, so know when to get out means like have some introspection, some discernment, like let's think about what we're doing, and let's see like if we ought to think about changing or doing something different. So I stayed in something for too long, right? The property management thing, I stayed in too long. And if people are in something that they feel like they don't like, that's the great piece of advice for them. It's just know when to get out.
Yeah.
The second thing is one of my mentors, his name is Brian McClure. He was the CEO for Standard Oil in Dallas, Texas, and he's the number one income earner in Ambit Energy. His name is Brian McClure, and he recommended a book called The E-Myth Revisited. And whenever someone that successful recommends a book, you know, I read it, right?
Right.
The guy makes like $1 million a month. Like it's insane. So very humble guy, you know, runs a Boy Scout troop, is very active in the community, does a lot of philanthropy. So he said, read the book E-Myth Revisited. So I did. And here's the takeaway to that book. And I definitely, if you're a business owner, you have to read that book. Okay. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And the book says, in life, you either work for a system or you create a system that works for you, right?
Wow.
So you need systems that work for you because, and Warren Buffett said, if you're not making money in your sleep, you're going to work until you die. So you need systems. And part of what I do is help people with systematizing their business. So, you know, think about how you can save time and money with systems that do things for you so you could enjoy more of your life, right? So knowing when to get out and putting some systems in place can really transform somebody's quality of life, I think, you know. So those for me have been good piece. And then there's one more, which I have to mention, which is don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. So service to many leads to greatness, right? This is all Jim Rohn. So, you know, find a way to serve. And if you want to make more money or have, you know, get more out of life, the key is just to serve more people, right? And to actually get more skills. Because the more skills you have, the more value you bring into the marketplace. You know,
Definitely.
if you feel like if you're not where you want to be, I would suggest like learning something new, taking a course. You know, I'm in a coaching program that I spent thousands of dollars on, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So you have to invest in yourself. So I hope somebody takes that and runs with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Invest in yourself. Yeah. That's so important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, this has been so awesome getting to know you better and chatting with you here today. Before I let you go, if people want to learn more about you, where can they go to find you?
Thank you. I enjoyed this a lot, and I appreciate. Usually, I'm on the interviewing side, so it's nice to be asked a few questions. So very simple, guys. You can just Google Consult Colletti, or you can go to consultcolletti.com. You could see the logo here. It's Colletti is Colletti. And from there, you can watch my podcast. I have YouTube channel, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Everything is just Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Everything is just Consult Colletti. Tried to keep my branding consistent. So.
Yes. Awesome. Yes, I know. And I love the alliteration. Anytime you can get some alliteration in there.
Chad Crenshaw actually came up with it. So
oh, yeah?
I have to give credit to my buddy Chad. So it's good to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Well, Anthony, thank you so much again. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, and have a great day. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, same. Yes. Take care.
Thank you.